Shalom. I'm Minister Dr. Cynthia Marie Whitley, but I'm not your conventional minister. The name of this podcast is Be Aware. Be aware of your thoughts. Each week, we will review self-realization tips using primarily biblical references through storytelling. We will reflect on our thoughts and become aware. I remember living so close to my neighbor's apartment that I could step in their windows without falling to the ground. Because of their uncompromising behavior, I worry sometimes that they may enter my house if they knew that no one from my family was at home. The lady of the house played music every morning at 6 o'clock a.m. sharp, so loudly that it became a piercing alarm clock and woke up my entire family. I tried talking with the neighbor to no avail, which turned into my complaining, and after a while I felt resigned and frustrated because she insisted on living life her way. What I desired didn't matter to her. She was living her ideal life and she didn't compromise. She seemed happy and content as she sang to the top of her lungs every morning. The songs were so catchy that unaware, I found myself humming, moving, and then singing the parts I memorized. One song went like this: why worry when you can pray? Trust Jehovah, He will lead the way. Since they were religious songs with catchy tunes, I became somewhat happy in my discontent. But I was inwardly dispirited. Music was always my enchantment. I'd become a minor character in someone else's story, more like an extra. I felt trapped, angry, gloomy, miserable, and resentful. Resentful because she seemed happy and I wasn't. I'm sure it showed in the way that I spoke to her when I saw her in public. Or maybe she didn't have a clue that I felt a certain way about her, or really about myself for not having the courage to live my ideal life. It wasn't even her fault. What I know for sure was that I was living against my will in many areas of my life, even my marriage. I heard a message the other day that said, if you don't create your own life, one will be created for you. I wasn't exercising my personal agency. Let's look at the word agency when it comes to a person. I heard the word agency referred to African American teens by one of my professors. My professor explained that each person has what is called a personal agency, where they get to control how things happen in their life. If they are unaware of their power, they usually give up this authority to whoever is ruling over them at the time. When I looked up the definition of agency, it said, a business or organization established to provide a particular service, especially such as to pronounce a particular or produce a particular effect. So giving up one's agency means you are not living your purpose. Thus, you have no control over the effects being produced in your life. This reminded me of another time when I defined the word perfection. One definition said suited for a particular purpose. So again, when you give up your agency or are unaware that you have this power, you cannot fulfill your purpose. My neighbor was using her personal agency to establish how she wished to live. She was aware of her purpose. How could I get out of her creation and live my ideal life? A life like I envisioned a professional teacher living. I had my own imagination of how a professional teacher should be living, and it wasn't my current life. I saw living spaces in magazines and beautiful settings when visiting colleagues, and I wanted that too. I never invited anyone over to my house. I'd rather be friendless than invite people over. I was embarrassed on so many fronts. I needed to take responsibility for creating my ideal life for my own sanity. I was burying myself as a result of feeling melancholy and even depressed as long as I was sitting and allowing myself to be bullied by someone else's creation. The spark was missing from my life, a spark that only existed when I was a young girl. It was time to make a change. It was time to make a change. I was no stranger to meditating, so I frequented my favorite place by the pond in Baisley Park, Queens, where I would often go to meditate and write in my journal. I wrote in the third person tense as I described living in peace and cleanliness. I pictured myself living by the water, which has been my refuge for so many years as I visited this pond time and time again. I imagined myself feeling free and living in a brand new development with neighbors with a like mindset to myself. Another time at the waterfront, I journaled myself receiving a doctorate degree, walking proudly down the aisle and feeling grand and fulfilled as I received my terminal degree. In 2022, I walked down that aisle at New York Theological Seminary to accept my doctorate degree in ministry. Years later, I live where the houses are worth over $1 million each, and I experience bliss as I look over my deck with my plants and flowers decorating my deck where the space belongs only to me. The neighbors respect the privacy of one another and live I live 1/4 of a mile from the beach, the Atlantic Ocean. So even though I journaled and visioned, I was given more than I could imagine. My favorite Jabaz's prayer, please enlarge my territory, O Lord, came into play again. The first step began with me taking responsibility for creating my ideal life. There are many ways to go about bringing one's ideal life into existence. The way I know is to envision it, believe and know that it is possible, meditate or pray on it, and get into action. Journaling has been my tool. If you are already living the life of your dreams, then hooray for you. You may want to begin sharing your methods so that it can help someone who is desiring change. If you are searching for a way to begin living your ideal life, I have a way that has worked for me. Script journaling, where you are the director, the main character, and you cast the persons you want in your life and you leave out whomever you do not want in your ideal life. Just don't include them or write them into your script. I've taken the time to make this method available in book form, My Ideal Life, on Amazon under Gershona Cynthia Whitley. And I've created a course on educationcreatesmasterminds.com if you prefer to be walked through the process. If you want to take control of your own life, I'll show you a process to assist you in taking control of your personal agency. Peace and shalom. Hey, it's time to make a change. We can make it happen. It's time to make a change in our lives. It's time for us to sit in the director's chair and do what we got to do. Create the lives of our dream. Create our ideal life. I have created a course, a script journaling course, and I will show you how to write in it. I know everyone's heard of journaling by now. Well, this is a unique style. This is fun. You are going to use your imagination and you are going to write in the third tense about your life. For example, I will say things like, as I'm writing, Gershona Cynthia Whitley has the life of her dreams. She goes to Broadway shows once a week. She goes, not I, no I.
no weed. You get to put whoever you want inside of your script journal, your life that you will be projecting out into the future. I will show you how. You will get the free 212-page journal. Yes, it's on Amazon. You can get a hard covered one. You can get a soft covered one, but you will get yours at the end of the course after we walk through some steps so that we can see if there's anything in our way from creating the life that we've always wanted. Has to be something in the way if our life is not the way we want it to be.